Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be checking out the 2018 movie Creed II. The movie starts in Ukraine, where we meet a retired professional boxer named Ivan Drago, who wakes up his son, Victor, to start his boxing training. After that, they attend a boxing bout where Victor dominates and quickly knocks out his opponent. Victor is a behemoth with tremendous strength and vitality. In the meantime, promoter Pale Marcel is watching Victor from the audience. After losing a match 3 years ago, professional boxer Adonis Creed, also known as Donnie, has won 6 straight fights in the United States. Donnie's prepared to face Danny Wheeler, aka Stuntman, in the World Heavyweight Championship match today. Wheeler's a fighter that Donnie bet his Mustang GT against and lost. Before the fight, Donnie speaks briefly with Rocky Balboa, his coach, who exhorts him to battle for glory and have faith in himself. Bianca, Donnie's girlfriend, pays him a visit in the interim and encourages him to win the match. Soon after, Donnie walks into the arena and confronts Wheeler. The boxers begin to attack one another as soon as the bout starts. Wheeler is able to strike Donnie a few times, and Donnie strikes Wheeler hard in retaliation. Following several rounds of fierce combat, Donnie knocks Wheeler down cold with a powerful punch. Donnie finally prevails in the fight, taking home the WBC World Heavyweight Championship and the admiration of a large crowd. He's thrilled with his victory because it means returning his old Mustang. Later that evening, Donnie stops by Rocky's house with an engagement ring and asks whether he should ask Bianca to marry him. Although Donnie appears to be deeply in love with Bianca, he's unsure of how to approach her. He asks Rocky what he said to Adrian, his late wife, when he proposed to her, and Rocky replies that he said or did something stupid. After that, he gives Donnie some words of wisdom and tells him that Bianca will unquestionably accept his proposal. Before departing, Donnie inquires about Rocky's health. Rocky responds that he's in good condition and has been totally protected from cancer. When Bianca gets out of the shower, Donnie rushes to her room and tries to pop the question. However, Bianca hasn't put on her hearing aids, so when he expresses his feelings for her, she's unable to hear him. She doesn't know what to do when she sees Donnie down on one knee, holding the ring. After Donnie reassures her of his love for her, Bianca's initially shocked and confused about what to say, but gladly accepts his proposal. Then Rocky visits Adrian's grave and briefly converses with her. He claims that he hasn't spoken to their son Robert in a long time and has never even met their grandson. Ivan and his son Victor arrive in Philadelphia in the meantime, accompanied by their promoter friend. For the first time in more than 30 years later that day, Ivan visits Rocky at his restaurant to introduce himself. Rocky defeated Ivan in a well-known fight several years ago. Rocky is shocked to find Ivan waiting for him when he gets there. Ivan then suggests that Victor and Donnie face off in a match, but Rocky opposes the idea, telling Ivan that he should set aside their rivalry and go on with his life. Enraged, Ivan informs Rocky that after being beaten, he lost everything. He said that following the event, he lost his wife and his respect in Russia. He says the match between Donnie and Victor is particularly very personal to him before walking away. Elsewhere, Donnie and Bianca are spending time together at a diner. On a news broadcast, Victor was competing for Donnie's World Heavyweight Championship. Victor is the son of the person who killed Donnie's father at the time, as his news reporters make sure to point out. Donnie is outraged by this and he begins planning his retaliation. In the following scene, Donnie's buddy approaches him as he takes in one of Bianca's concerts and tries to get him to fight Victor. He incites Donnie to battle and exact revenge on his father's murder. Surprisingly, Donnie accepts his offer and leaves. Afterwards, Donnie visits Rocky and shares all the details of his choice to challenge Victor. Rocky, however, rejects the notion and says that he doesn't want to see Victor suffer defeat at the hands of Victor's opponent, like his father Apollo suffered when he faced Ivan. Also, he hates that Donnie only engages in combat out of fury and contempt. He tries to talk Donnie out of fighting Victor, but the latter's set in his ways. After seeing this, Rocky decides to abstain from the bout and declines to prepare Donnie for it. Donnie tells Bianca that they'll move into their new apartment near his mother Mary's home in Los Angeles after returning from Rocky's residence. After that, Donnie and Bianca go to Mary to tell her that he's decided to fight Victor. Mary infers from Donnie's attempt to explain the altercation that they're there to share the news of Bianca's pregnancy. Bianca decides to obtain a pregnancy test despite the duo laughing it off. The pregnancy test results are unexpectedly positive. After some consideration, Donnie and Bianca choose to keep the child. A short while later, Donnie approaches Mary to let her know about the altercation with Victor. When Mary learns that Donnie wants to fight, she's obviously saddened, but she agrees to let him on the condition that he doesn't mention her or Apollo in his explanation for the fight. Next, Donnie looks for Tony Evers, also known as Little Duke. Comes out that Tony is the son of the same trainer who formerly worked with Apollo. After giving it some thought, Tony agrees to Donnie's pleas to get him ready for the match with Victor. After that, Donnie starts a tough training regimen and makes no effort to avoid getting ready for the battle. Victor and Donnie attack one another on the day of the match's announcement, displaying the level of resentment and contempt they each harbor. And then the scene changes to match day, when Ivan comments about Apollo enraging Donnie. Donnie seems self-assured at the beginning of the fight, landing a few powerful headshots on Victor. But the behemoth quickly regains his composure and strikes Donnie multiple times. On the other hand, Rocky can be seen watching the fight by himself in his restaurant. Victor, in the meantime, repeatedly strikes Donnie in the ribs, fracturing them. Victor hits Donnie with an illegal headshot as he's on his knees, screaming in agony. Despite the fact that Victor is disqualified for the unlawful strike, everyone else is worried about Donnie's health. The doctor walks up to Bianca in the hospital's subsequent scene and tells her that Donnie is safe but has significant rib fractures. Additionally, he says that he needs time to recover. Later, when Bianca visits Donnie, he's unable to look at her without feeling guilty over the loss. Rocky also tries to see him at the hospital, but Donnie rants at him and accuses him of being the reason he lost, saying that if Rocky had trained him, he would have defeated Victor. After a few weeks, Bianca notices that Donnie is becoming less approachable to everyone, especially her. Little Duke approaches Donnie, who's still the acknowledged champion, and tells him that Victor wants a rematch. He also warns him that he has the option of not fighting Victor, but that he must choose an opponent immediately or risk forfeiting the crown. Donnie, though, appears uninterested and departs without saying anything. On the back of a sonogram image of the unborn child, Mary writes Rocky a note assuring him that Donnie needs help. This ultimately convinces Rocky, so he decides to go to Los Angeles and surprise Donnie at his mother's house. Rocky explains to Donnie there that he considers him to be his own son and doesn't want him to compete against Victor. The two end up reconciling after hurling a few insults at each other. The Dragos can be seen having dinner to celebrate Victor's success in the following scene. This is disturbed when Ludmila, the mother of Victor, and Ivan unexpectedly appear with her new spouse. Victor, who's furious, starts to leave the building, but Ivan stops him by telling him that they're genuinely there to assist him. Eventually, Bianca gives birth to a daughter they call Amara. After some time, the medical professionals evaluate Amara to see if she shares Bianca's hearing issue. Amara was born deaf, which is regrettably confirmation of their greatest worries. Rocky exits the room after remembering his son Robert after hearing this. He tries to call Robert while outside, but eventually gives up. One night, Amara and Donnie are left alone. After some time, Amara begins to cry and Donnie's unable to stop her. After numerous failures, he brings Amara to the boxing training facility. Surprisingly, she relaxes and even smiles at Donnie when he starts striking the punching bag. Donnie is overjoyed by this and learns that Amara also enjoys boxing. In addition, he understands that Victor must be defeated for him to succeed because boxing is in his blood. Donnie and Bianca had a serious discussion at night about going up against Victor once more. He also states his desire to triumph and become their daughter's hero. When he refuses, Bianca forces him to vow that he would go back to his family. She then starts encouraging him to win the battle. Later, Donnie visits Rocky and Little Duke to discuss the fight specifics, and this time Rocky agrees to coach him. Duke has been tasked with calling the WBC and officially announcing the fight against Victor after this little incident. In the next scene, Rocky re-energizes Donnie's spirit. He gets him used to harsh surroundings by taking him to a remote location in the middle of the desert where all of the training equipment is made of abrasive materials. They largely concentrate on physical endurance and actual game situations. Victor and Donnie gradually begin preparing for the contest. Victor, on the other hand, keeps playing club matches and prevails in each one. He's incapable of withstanding any opponent for more than 4 rounds. Following that, the scene changes to match day in Moscow. The Russian crowd boos Donnie as he enters the arena, but Rocky, Bianca, and Mary are there to lift his spirits. On the other hand, the audience is quite supportive of Victor because they came to see him triumph. Rocky approaches Donnie just before the battle and encourages him to fight until the bitter end. As soon as the battle begins, Donnie dominates the first round and makes it clear that this duel will not go the same way as the last one. In the second round, however, Victor fights back and takes the lead by hitting Donnie's ribs and head with powerful blows. Victor wins the next few rounds and knocks Donnie down, but Donnie keeps getting back up, which surprises Victor. When the round stopped, Rocky tries to tell Donnie what to do to stop Victor. Ivan tells Victor that he needs to attack Donnie and break him again. Shortly after that, Donnie lands more powerful blows that put Victor down twice. Ludmila and her husband see that Donnie is going to win, so they stand up and leave the arena. When Ivan and Victor saw that they were leaving, Victor felt terrible because he thought he had let down his mother. Donnie keeps hitting Victor, and when Ivan sees that his son is in a very bad way and not fighting back, he knows that Victor will die, but he tells him not to give up. Then he realizes that his son's life is about more than titles and respect, so he gives up and saves his son's life by throwing in the towel. Donnie keeps his heavyweight title because of this. Ivan tells Victor that it's okay for him to lose, and he hugs him. As Bianca walks toward the ring to join Donnie and Duke in celebrating the win, Rocky gets up and tells Donnie to enjoy the moment. Then he sits down outside the ring to watch them party. In the next scene, Rocky goes to Chicago to see Robert and meet his grandson Logan for the first time. Robert lets Rocky in and told Logan's grandfather about Rocky. On the other hand, Ivan and Victor went back to Ukraine and keep training there. In the last scene, Donnie, Bianca, and Amara go to Apollo's grave. At the movie's end, Donnie shows his father respect and introduces Amara to him. Well, that's it for today. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe. We really appreciate your support.